there. How's this sound? Any better?
Yeah, much better. Still a little scratchy, but leaks better than you were before. N6HA.
Okay, this is KP4MD, Carol, net control operator for River City ARC's Slow Scan TV Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz in Sacramento, California, and also on our YouTube channel. River City ARC's members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before I continue. So any station wishes to check into the net, please come now.
Kilo 6, Kilo Romeo, Quebec, Bill in South Natomas.
November 6, Hotel Alpha, Bill in Roseville.
November 6, Sierra Alpha Charlie, Jay in Antelope.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec, Bob in Northmost Roseville.
Okay, I have number 1 is Kilo 6, Kilo Romeo, Quebec, Bill. Number 2 is November 6 Hotel Alpha, Bill also. Number 3 is November 6 Sierra Alpha Charlie J. Number 4 is November 6 Papa Golf Quebec, Bob. I'll put myself as number 5, KP4MD, Carol. Any other check-ins, please come now.
Alpha India 6, Delta Golf, Joel in Florence.
Okay, we have Alpha India 6 Delta Golf. That's Joel in Florin. Any other check-ins? Well, we have a nice group here tonight, and I think we'll go up to the top of the list. And Bill, K6KRQ, are you going to be sending any pictures to us tonight? Over to you. Over.
KP4MD, K6KRQ. No, Carol, I'm still just a spectator. I hope that's okay. K6KRQ.
Oh yes, that's perfectly very okay. We love to have an audience out there, and you're welcome to join in as to. Oh, we also have on live chat. We have Craig, Whiskey Papa 2 November Portable 5 from the bayous of Louisiana. They're in Cajun country, saying good evening to all. Thank you for joining us, Craig. Craig used to live here in the Sacramento area years ago and was a regular part of this Slow Scan TV Net. So we'll go over to you, Bill, N6HA, and you can go ahead and start if you have a picture. Over.
Yeah, roger that. This is a November 6 Hotel Alpha, and this will be a PD 120.
Okay, thank you, Bill. That picture came through very, very clearly. We have a couple other check-ins on our live chat here. Alvaro Gaitan, that's Kilo Bravo 2 Uniform Echo Whiskey, says, everyone, good evening and thanks for a terrific job. 73. Bob Kerr, KA9 Mike Delta Papa, says, good evening from Sutter Creek. And you're certainly welcome to watch us here, Bob, and contribute there on our live chat. So let's go up to the top of the list here. And Bill, K6KRQ, I don't know if you're watching this on your own computer and decoding it that way or watching it on YouTube, but do you have any comments about this picture? Over to you, K6KRQ, over.
KP4MD, K6KRQ. Yeah, I do, and then I got a question. Yeah, I'm watching it on YouTube on the River City channel. So what I'm looking at now is like to see how much clearer the pictures are from when I was watching when you guys were and gals were showing the from the ISS. But then again, you weren't hitting Bill wasn't trying to hit a moving target here either. So, but nevertheless, I'm still thrilled to see what you can do over the air. I'm gonna let it break. Hey, the question I got, I need to get a microphone so I can reach it. It'll reach my computer, my laptop. That's what I use. If I put the microphone to my radio, will the software, quote, listen to it and maybe decode it onto my own computer? Over.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very often the first way that a lot of people get into slow scan, either with a laptop computer or using one of the apps that you have on a smartphone that can do the same thing. Over.
Okay, I'm going to have to give it a try here in the future. I'm still working on antennas, but I'll give it a try. Anyway, over to the next participant. Thanks again, K6KRQ.
Okay, very good. We'll then go to Jay, November 6, Sierra Alpha Charlie. Did you copy this picture and any comments on it? Over.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. Good evening, everyone. This is November 6, Sierra Alpha Charlie. Yeah, the picture came through pretty clear. Not very many pixel pops. I think there was an ID in the middle of it, which is kind of funny. I can see a little bit of ribbon almost halfway down the image. I don't think I've ever seen these things before. This actually looks like two pictures kind of added together. One looks like the front of the retail packaging for a Kenwood VC-H1, which looks like black and white TV. And then the picture below looks like it was maybe taken with your cell phone because it's inverted, and it shows the device with the back open, and it's got 4 AA batteries in there. And yeah, this looks very cool. I imagine when there was more just analog over-the-air transmission, a little black and white TV would have been nice. I think that'd be harder today unless we have everything that is digital or high def. But yeah, the picture came out good. I'd like to hear more about this little TV. Over.
Okay, let me pass it over to Bob N6PGQ. N6PGQ, your comments on this picture. Over.
Well, the quality is real good. We aren't having very many pixel pops this evening. You can't hear pave pause, so hopefully that'll continue through the rest of the evening. Well, it looks like we have a Kenwood box on the top, and then the Kenwood itself down in the bottom with the battery compartment open. Everything's a little bit gray, but you can see the red stripes on the battery, so we know it's in color because it also says N6HA and N6NA Slow Scan TV Net on the picture. I believe that's one of the Kenwood radios that you can take pictures of and use Slow Scan TV off your handheld. But it's going to be interesting to find out the story. Always interested in seeing new gear, Good quality N6 PGQ.
N6YG, checking.
Hey, George. Hi. So we got you on the list also here. Very good. Thank you for joining us, George. And N6YG. Okay, I'll tell you what. I think I've seen one of these in action before many, many years ago when we started this net. Stelly, Alpha Echo 6 Oscar Romeo, up in Auburn, was sending pictures using this connected to his radio. And it was very interesting. So let's pass it back over to you, Bill, and tell us about if this is something you picked up and some more about it. And November 6 Hotel Alpha, KP4MD, over.
Yeah, thank you, Carol Lynette. Very good guesses by everyone. This is indeed a VCH1 visual communicator. It's a slow scan device. You actually could plug it into your Kenwood or even Baofeng because it's in connector radio and send slow scan images. It supports Robot 36 and Fast SM, whatever that is. But this is a picture. It's a story in two pictures. On top, you see the where I saw it at the Handfest at Pacificon, and on the bottom, you see the battery compartment, which everyone missed, is full of battery acid. And that's how I ended up getting more than half off of the asking price of this from the seller, who was unaware of the corrosion. This actually isn't for me. I bought this for George because I have one, and he spoke enviously of mine, so I picked one up for him also. So hi, George. Hopefully you're able to resolve this battery acid issue. So we'll see. But anyways, it's just a moral of the story is check the battery compartment when you buy used gear at Amfest and 6HA.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments about this before we continue? Yeah, go ahead, George, please. Yeah, you're not holding the repeater, George.
Copy, Carol.
Okay, yeah, we copy you now. Go ahead.
I'm using kind of a compromise antenna, so I'm not going to hold it. I just wanted to say hello. I don't have any way of sending pictures or copying tonight, but I remembered the net was on it here and say hello to everyone and hold it because I'm FTDM 400 right now. All right, back to net N6YG.
Okay, well, thanks for saying hi, and you were in and out during that transmission. We understand you have a compromised situation. I guess an FTM 400, but perhaps a compromised antenna, not quite coming in very well. But thank you for making your presence known and watching the pictures. That we certainly welcome you to do that. So let's go down the list here. The next person in line for sending a picture is Jay. If we can proceed. November 6 Sierra Alpha Charlie. Are you ready to send? Please go ahead, over.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, I have a picture ready to go. It will be in PD 120.
Okay, before we continue, we do have a question for Bill, N6HA, from Bob Kerr over on live chat. He asked, is there corrosion on the batteries? Over.
Yeah, heavy corrosion on the batteries, kind of the risk you take when buying gear from a ham fest. Luckily, this is for George, so it's he's going to have to deal with it, not me. But hopefully he can fix it. Yeah, definitely very bad corrosion. He had two other of these visual communicators, and both of them, I believe, also had the same issue. So be wary of someone selling many of the same items at a ham fest. So that's the moral of the story. And 6HA.
Okay, yeah, I myself sometimes have forgotten alkaline batteries or carbon zinc batteries for a long time, and when I open it up too late, got to clean out all the corrosion in there. Hopefully it hasn't damaged anything more than just the contacts on the battery holder. Thank you very much for that. Now we're going to go over to Jay. You've got a really nice picture. I'm seeing some pixel pops here and there in the white background of the clouds, but a very interesting structure there. So let's go back to the next in line. Let's go to Joel, AI6DG. What did you copy there, and any comments on this picture? Over.
Nice copy. Some pops, not a huge number of them. We've got a couple of bushes or small trees in the foreground. Looks like it's fall because we've got some color on some of them. And some larger trees a little bit further in the background, kind of surrounding what looks like a castle, literally. You got stone construction, ivy covering the lower parts of it on a couple of sides. You got the castlements up on top of a main large tower that goes up most of the height of the photo, and a smaller, more decorative tower to the left. So probably old. I don't know, maybe England. And I don't know how functionally secure it would have been back in castle days. People built castles to keep people out, and may or may not have worked. So look forward to hearing more. Back to Net, AI6DG.
Okay, thank you for that, Joel. We'll go back up to Bill, November 6 Hotel Alpha. How did you copy that, and your comments on it? Over.
Yeah, pretty good copy here. Okay amount of pixel pops for nothing that takes away from the photo. Very good composition, and yeah, looks like a castle. I don't know if this is actually somewhere unique or if this is in California. We actually have a fair amount of castles in California. Oh, that's baby. But yeah, I want to know where this is at. And yeah, otherwise, good photo. And 6HA.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Bill. Jay, can you please explain to us about this picture? Over.
Yeah, happy to. This is N6SAC, and thanks for letting me know about the pixel pops. I was monitoring on a separate transceiver, and I did hear more pops during this transmission than on the previous one, so not surprising you got some pixel pops. Yes, this is a castle, and it is a very special castle. This is the famous Blarney Castle, home of the Blarney Stone. And the stone is up at the very top. It's on the opposite side of where this picture is at. This is where you come walking into the castle. There's that little bridge in the bottom right, and there's actually a cave underneath the castle. And then there's two very skinny spiral staircases that you take all the way up to the top. And if you've ever been there or seen pictures of people kissing the Blarney Stone, you've got to contort yourself quite a bit to be able to get to that thing. But it's up at the very, very top on the opposite side of where we are here. This was one of the prettiest grounds, and yes, it was fall. It was about this time last year, and so the color in the clouds give that away. But this was a very typical lush castle garden setting, one of the nicer stops on our trip. N6SAT, back to net.
Hey, thank you very much. Yes, by the way, those pixel pops, you see them as the little black dots in the clouds. You can see them as different color dots elsewhere throughout the picture, and those are caused by the PAVE-PAWS radar up at Beale Air Force Base that just happens to share this frequency, and they do send out these radar pulses that cause a little bit of distraction on some of our pictures, but that just happens because we're sharing the frequency. Okay, we don't bother them, of course, but we do know when they're transmitting. Thank you very much. Any other comments about this picture before we continue?
Okay. Question?
Yes, please go ahead with the question.
Hey, what does it mean when you say like PD 120 or PD 100 before the transmission? Over.
Oh, okay. Well, in our this is KP4MD. When we're in our software program here for this slow scan television, you can send the picture or image using different there's different decoding and coding schemes for converting the picture into tones. So PD120 is one of the formats. Another one is Martin 1 and Martin 2. Scotty 1, Scotty 2, Robot 24, Robot 36. There's quite a few, and each one of them has their pros and cons. Some are longer, some are shorter, some give you higher resolution or lower resolution. We're sticking with PD120 mostly because that's the same format that they use on the International Space Station. But you'll notice it when you get your software running. And so that's pretty much the story. Any other questions there, Bill? K6KRQ, over.
No, that was perfect. That'll outline some more I got to learn about. Thanks for that, Carol. Appreciate it. K6KRQ.
Comment?
Yeah, go ahead, comment.
As I remember, the original intent of stating the mode was to give a chance for people who don't have software that automatically detects the mode to set the mode for them to properly be able to receive it. Back to net, AI6TG.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, the MMS SSTV that we're using particularly has automatic detection of the mode, but there are some other software that doesn't do that, and you have to make sure you're set to receive the proper mode, or else you don't even get a picture. Just get a bunch of scrambled dots and colors and stuff. Okay, so let's go next. Bob, N6PGQ, are you ready? We're ready for your pictures. This is KP4MD, over.
Okay, I'm ready. This should be PD 120 N6PGQ.
Wow, this is really curious. Let's see. Let's go up to. Let's go to you, Joel. Alpha India 6 Delta Golf. How did you copy this, and what did you make of this? Over.
Yeah, PayPause I think is active tonight. There's a pretty bad set of pops coming up on everyone transmitting that I've heard so far anyway. It doesn't appear to be hitting the images as bad as it sounds. This is a good quality image. Yep, pops, but not a huge number. It looks like we're looking at a book that's been opened up. We've got two pages left and right. They're both photographs with kind of a fancy graphic artwork around them and text down below. Left one, okay, and they're a young gentleman in suit and ties, one in quarter profile, one in full profile. The left one, text on the bottom, May 26, 19, can't really read it, maybe 1930. Something in Sons, so I'm assuming her last name in Sons. And then text, gentlemen, something or another. Since my first appearance, something or another. And the same thing on the right, New York, November 19, something 2434. Some name in Sons. Gentlemen, the best period, something or other. Just not enough resolution. Maybe a playbook or play card from a theatrical production, biography of something. Hard to tell. Back to net, N6TG. Look forward to hearing more about it.
Bill, N6HA, any comments on this picture? Over.
Yeah, very good call. I have to step away briefly. N6HA.
Okay, yeah, I think that Bill is having some local QRM from harmonics. So let's go next to Jay. N6SAC, what do you make of this picture? Over.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. This is N6SAC. Yeah, Joel described it really well. I've been trying to squint and look. This does look like a book versus something that is documenting your own family tree. Is that Steinway and Sons on the right? That might be what that is. But this looks like a historical book because these are all in sepia, right? Not quite black and white. And it looks like pictures with letters that are from whoever that picture is up above. And but it looks really interesting and probably a collection of the historical. But yeah, it came through good. There are some pops, and with the sepia tone of the book, the pops kind of stand out as bright reds, blues, and yellows. But it's all very readable. Just can't quite make out all of the words for the resolution. Good image though. N6SAC. Back to net.
Okay, I'm going to hazard a guess from, let me read a little bit on the right side from what I can make of it. The best proof that I could give of my admiration for your beautiful pianos lies in the fact that I purchased two Steinway pianos for my home in London. The greatest violinist, I think, of the world have something, yeah, I guess it gets a little challenging down lower, but interesting. And on the left side, since my first appearance in America in October 19 something, I have used the Steinway piano exclusively and with genuine pleasure at all my concerts. Wow. If I'm actually reading that, that's pretty interesting. Over to you, Bob, N6PGQ. Are we getting close? Over?
Oh, you're getting very close. The person on the left is Jascha Heifetz, and on the right is Misha Elman, and it's a 1922 book entitled Portraits of Musical Celebrities, Book of Notable Testimonials. And it also says on the back, Steinway, the Instrument of the Immortals. Also in this book are testimonials from Edison, Caruso, Prokofiev, Percy Grainger, Rachmaninoff, Mahler, Gounod, Berlioz, Liszt, Wagner, and also from Ephraim Zimbalist from Russia. That's before he emigrated and had Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., who was on the TV for a while. Let me drop this. They're all testimonials from famous musicians and people, and then at the back of it is like a 4-page, very small print list of all the artists and notable people that use a Steinway piano. And they were in the forefront of development of pianos with an iron frame, which allowed them to tighten the strings much tighter than a wooden frame piano, and play a whole heck of a lot louder. Some real interesting comments in it. It's a neat little book, and what the heck goes in our bench in front of our Steinway N6PGQ.
Wow, thank you for that little piece of history. Any other comments about this picture before we continue? Well, thank you for sharing that, Bob. Let's go next to Joel, AI6DG. If you have a picture, we're ready for it. KP4MD, over.
Was there tone?
Yes, affirmative, over.
DD120.
Okay, this is KP4MD. I do recognize some of those things there, but let's pass it up to Bill. November 6 Hotel Alpha, and how did you copy this, and what are your comments on this picture? Over.
Yeah, it's a rougher copy than normal, Joel. Maybe you're not at your QTH. I see Craig says a nice little POTA station. Looks like Pacificon Mobile. Yeah, this looks like Joel's typical setup for the field. I saw during Winter Field Day he had a similar setup. So that's that Lab 599 radio, which I always like to look at. That's a nice radio. I see a Rockmite amplifier, keyboard, and a computer there, which I assume has FT8 on it, but there's a weird yellow thing in the middle. Oh, that, you know what, that might be FT8, and he's calling people with grid tracker on the right-hand side. And various cords and adapters. There's a 2-liter of Pepsi to keep, well energized, and a bottle of water. And a big battery on the ground there. So, yeah, good setup. I wonder what antenna you're using for this in a parking lot, and how well you did. Anyways, yeah, back to that, N6HA.
Thank you for that. Let's go over to Jay. November 6 Sierra Alpha Charlie. How did you get this picture? And your comments, over.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. This is N6SAC. Yeah, this was, like I was mentioning, a little rougher. Many more pops on this one, but still, yeah, very clearly a POTA station with FT8 up and running. I'm really interested in the case that's used. It seems like the style nowadays is to use a Pelican-style case, but this looks like something older. And I've seen these before. I don't know the model or the manufacturer, but they seem pretty sturdy, and enough room to be able to put foam in there to hold your components in place, but definitely reminds me of like old school style case, so I'd be interested to hear what box is being used there. But overall, good picture. N6SAC, back to net.
Okay, Joel, AI6DG, please fill us in on this, over.
Yeah, so I had a great time at Pacificon. The weather was beautiful the entire weekend. While I was sitting there operating at this station, it was just absolutely gorgeous. There's been some times when the weather was kind of miserable, cloudy, overcast, almost drizzly, but not at all this year. The antenna was a 10 to 40 end-fed. The coax is going off to the left and going up to towards the top of a 30-foot telescoping mast I had leaning against a tree. I mean, literally leaning, maybe on the opposite side of a high branch, to keep it from tipping, because on the far end of that, 65 feet of that end-fed antenna, I had an 18-foot tall fiberglass pole on a tripod. It worked quite well. I'm really enjoying the TX500. I did finally get it all figured out. It turns out it's got 2 audio in-out plugs. One of them is used just for the normal voice modes, and there's a strictly data port. So I just had to make once I actually read the manual and realized that, I just had to make another cable, because at least the radio did come with a connector. I just needed to make the cable. Just a little bit above that, there's a black box. That's a little mini PC. Not much bigger than a couple of cigarette packs. It's amazing what they can fit in, how small of a space. And to the left of both of those is a USB sound card that I use. That was made by a guy in Switzerland. I think was it DigiRig or Nano something. Anyway, the case I picked up at the Loomis, whichever one's closer to me, a few years ago, and it used to be a video camera case of some kind. I pretty much threw out all of the foam and got a big sheet of foam and just cut it into pieces, and everything fits in there nice. What I've seen most people doing is kind of rack mount stuff, and I did at that same swap get a small portable rack, kind of like what you're describing. Let me let it drop. But I'm going to use that for the Flex 6500, and this one would be for the smaller, more portable operations where I want to be able to ship things and have lots of foam around everything. And in fact, this setup I actually put in a suitcase when I did a trip to Texas, and it got there fine and back. And I was doing stuff related to the eclipse and the various experiments. Enough. Back to Net, AS6TG.
Thank you for that explanation, Joel. Are there any other questions about this picture before we continue?
Question.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill, with the question.
Hey, does Joel's picture have a lot of pixel pops just because he happened to be transmitting at a bad time for that pave pause?
Yeah, what happens is the pave pause radar sometimes raises their power, and sometimes they're sending more radar pulses, and also it depends how strong your signal is into the repeater to overcome that interference. So if you've got low power and you're further away from the repeater, sometimes we see more pops on it. Over.
Got it. Thanks for that. K6KRQ.
Okay, well, it's just part of the challenge of the communication. Okay, well, I do have a picture I'm going to go ahead and send, and this is also going to be PD120s, KP4MD. Okay, let's go up to Bill. N6HA, how did you copy the picture and your comments on it? Over.
Yeah, good copy here. Pixel Pops. PayPal seemed to turn it down a little bit since Joel sent, but still a fair amount of Pixel Pops. Yeah, good photo. That looks like Gordon West, everyone's favorite CW coach and writer of good books to learn how to be a ham. Yeah, this looks like Pacificon near the Flex Radio booth and the ARL booth. He was probably there to honk his horn for people who passed the exam. I did hear him honk a few times when I was in that hall. Pacificon was a lot of fun. I always have a good time going in there, and I always tell people they should really try to make it out to the convention because it's a great experience and a great place to learn new things about ham radio. So yeah, Gordon is quite the fixture of ham radio, and I do enjoy Ham Nation, which he's a host of along with Josh from Ham Radio Crash Course. So yeah, you probably meet Gordon all the time, Carol, so I'm wondering if you got to interact with him at all. N6NA back to net.
Yeah, thank you much, Bill. Over to you, JN6SAC. How did you copy in your comments? Over.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. This is N6SAC. Yeah, the picture came out fine. There is kind of just a steady stream of pops on there, but not enough to take away of recognizing Gordon, even if it looks like the picture was taken fairly quickly and maybe the lighting wasn't the best, a little bit of motion blur. But with his smile and his hair, it's hard to not recognize him there. And then, yeah, he's got the horn in his hand. So, yeah, definitely one of the rock stars of our hobby. And I'm also interested if you got good time meeting him, stories about him, or rubbing elbows with other amateur radio rock stars when you go to these events. N6SAC, back to net.
Okay, I'll give Bob, N6PGQ, also a chance to comment. You have anything to say about this picture, Bob? Over.
Well, it definitely is Gordo, and he has one of the light-up signs with his call, WB6NOA, in front. In his right hand, well, also right and left hand, he has this little horn, and every time somebody comes in that's gotten a new license, he honks the horn and gives everybody a little signed certificate and kind of makes a big deal out of it. And he's now working with ARRL for their publications instead of W5YI like he used to. And I think it says ARRL on his shirt even. So, yeah, this was at Pacificon. He was right next to the Flex Radio booth, which you can see a little bit to the left, N6PGQ.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, this is Gordon West, the famous author of the Gordon West license manuals. And yeah, Ham Nation, and I've met him, over a dozen times at different he's always comes to Pacificon convention, and I've met him at other venues also, and yeah, we know each other pretty much by sight. I don't really talk to him very much other than when we meet in these kinds of venues, but yeah, he's a great draw. People really, a lot of people get their introduction to amateur radio through his products. So. And he was at the ARRL booth, and yep, spent some time over there at the booth as well. I spent about 4 or 5 hours greeting the public over there. We were right next to the Flex Radio booth. So, yep, that's one of the perks you get. And you were asking me there, Bill, if I also had other contacts with celebrities there. Yeah, we went out to dinner with the president of the ARRL and the CEO and a lot of the brass, and who else was there? Dave Kassler, K0OG, who does a lot of the really nice YouTube videos mentoring newbies to amateur radio. He was there. I'm trying to think who else. Quite a few people, and yeah, these conventions where you get to meet those people, you know, the shakers and movers and the owners of businesses that manufacture radio equipment. So it's really good. So and some of the speakers, of course, are pioneers in their fields. So it's really an opportunity to really learn a lot about amateur radio and to meet people at all levels of amateur radio and just to really enrich your experience. So any other questions about this picture before we continue? Over.
Comment.
Okay, Joel, go right ahead. AI6DG, over.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised as I walked by the HRO booth to not see a table set aside from him, but then pleased to see later on that it was over between Flex and ARRL booth. I don't know which side he was actually on. There does seem to be a bit more of a internet influencer crowd showing up. David Kessler's been showing up the last few years. And I also noticed this year, I was very pleased to see Josh from Ham Radio Crash Course there also. Is it Jerry Ellsworth? Jerry, is it Jerry? Or I always mix up her name. She wasn't there this year. She's been there a few years, though. I mean, a few times in the past. Back to that, yeah, 6DG.
Oh yeah, Josh Nass, he was going all around. I actually got to speak with him also, KS6NAZ. He's got quite a tremendous following on YouTube, and he puts out a lot of good YouTube videos about amateur radio. No, Jerry Ellsworth was not there. She was actually the keynote speaker back in 2018, and she had come to some Pacificons after that, but I don't remember seeing her this time at this year. Doug Hendricks, Doug Hendricks was he had a business that used to sell QRP kits, and he was there doing the QRP meetings, and they have a room there, the Pleasanton room there. They were doing on Friday evening and on Saturday evening. But he did not have the booth that he's had in previous years where he was selling his QRP kits. I'm trying to remember what they call it, Pacific QRP or something like that. So any other questions or comments about Pacificon or this picture? Over.
I do want to mention someone who was lost or missed and is unfortunately lost, Silent Key, Bob Hale. Bit of a loss, yeah. That's a hole. Back to net, yeah, 6DG.
Oh yes, Bob Heil, Kilo 9 Echo India Delta K9 EID, who was one of the first the founders of the Ham Nation YouTube videos. We have a comment here from Paul Aaron, Kilo Charlie 9 Charlie Mike Golf. Paul, good copy of PIC. Receive you live by YouTube feed to Robot 36 decoder and 73 to all. So I'm glad that KC9 CMG is joining us tonight over there. Well, okay, I think that's about it. I have to say Bob Heil also, I've seen him at a number of different conventions. He was at Visalia a number of times at the International DX Convention. One time he actually went and played the organ at a theater in town, and that was tremendous. So he was known to be a musician that way as well. So one final call out there for anybody who has any final comments before we close the nets. KP4MD. Okay, we're at the top of the hour, so at this point we are going to secure the net. I want to thank everyone who's joined us tonight for participating in this slow scan television net. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. The net is now closed at 10 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. This is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta Carol, wishing you all a good evening and see you next Wednesday. KP4MD is now QRT.